Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a Jackson County man pleads guilty to murder. Find out how long he'll be behind bars. An annual service pays tribute to victims of a local tragedy. See how loved ones are keeping their memories alive. And Seadrift Council members hear a report on water plan violations.
Well, our low has shifted eastward, but that doesn't mean that we're out of the rain chances just yet. We'll be talking about that coming up in weather.
And as the new Pope begins his papacy, all eyes are on his first moves. We have what's unfolding at the Vatican. You're watching 25 News now at 5. Good afternoon. Thanks for being with us. I'm Don Brubaker. Shauna Curry is on assignment. An Edna man accused of murdering his girlfriend was sentenced to 50 years in state prison. As part of a plea agreement, Ramon Palacios pleaded guilty to the murder of Roseanne Martinez on August 9, 2024. Palacios confessed then to Edna police that he shot his girlfriend. If or when Palacios is released from state custody, he will not be allowed to make contact with the victim's family. Palacios will stay in the custody of the Jackson County Sheriff's Office until he is transferred to the state prison in Huntsville. 22 years ago, 19 undocumented people lost their lives in a tragic incident. They were left locked in a hot semi-tractor trailer. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley joins us now with details on a service planned for next week. Ray?
Yes, Don. Among those 19 undocumented people, a young teenager and a 5-year-old boy were among the 19 undocumented people found dead in the semi-tractor trailer. The incident happened near the intersection of Highway 77 and Fleming Road on May 14, 2003. They were packed in the tractor trailer together and the temperature rose to 170 degrees. A total of 70 people were found inside the trailer. Family members of the deceased participate in an annual service to remember that tragic day. Organizers say a few weeks ago, someone stole the crosses at the memorial site valued at $300. They plan to make new ones and replace the ones before next week's service. Again, the memorial is next Saturday at noon near the intersection of Highway US 77 and Fleming Road. Don?
Ray, thank you. Lavaca County authorities are still investigating a chase for 2 men who ran away during a traffic stop Wednesday. Deputies stopped a truck in between Shiner and Moulton that was stolen out of Brazoria County. The driver then drove the truck through multiple barbed wire fences until finally coming to a stop in a pasture. 2 men were seen running away. DPS state troopers and Texas game wardens joined the search along with drones and tracking dogs. Border Patrol agents will be in Lavaca County next week to check the vehicles for fingerprints and DNA. The 2 men, described as being in their late 20s, each less than 6 feet tall, are still on the loose. Any suspicious activity should be reported to the Lavaca County Sheriff's Office. The city of Seadrift says goodbye to a former city secretary and addresses some issues with the water treatment plant there. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting joins us now with an update. Trenton?
Thanks, Don. Seadrift City Council held a workshop to discuss the departure of their city secretary, but more importantly, over a dozen alleged violations from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality. In a report from the Public Works Director, Council heard several violations involving the condition of monitoring equipment and the lack of documentation for inspections and changes to the water tanks and pumps. TCEQ released a notice in April informing the city of their violations, but there won't be any penalties until the department's next review of Seadrift. The penalties may be less harsh for the city if there's some progress on these issues, but Public Works has already solved some of them, like emergency power, and they're still working on others like creating a distribution map and updated fences around water wells. Seadrift is making steps to improve the water supply system after a local state of disaster notice back in January. Don?
Trenton, thank you. Victoria Regional Airport is rolling out new perks to get more travelers flying local. County leaders extended the airport's incentive program through August of next year and broadened it to include nearby counties. One highlight, free round-trip flights to Houston for government employees and their spouses, including workers from Victoria County, the City of Victoria, and several surrounding areas. There's also cash back for anyone flying United from Victoria. up to $250 per trip. But not everyone's on board. Some residents question whether public funds should be used to offer flight deals to government workers. This brings us to our viewer poll today. Is it ethical for public employees to get free personal flights from Victoria to Houston? Here are your options. Yes, it's a good incentive to encourage local air travel. No, public employees and their families should not receive free flights for personal use, or it's only ethical if the flights are strictly for official business. Overwhelmingly, the voters are picking number 2. No, they should not receive free flights for personal use. We thank you for voting, and we want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we'll have the latest results at 6. The Harris County Sheriff is calling for better pay. Sheriff Ed Gonzalez spoke out today, one day after deputies packed a commissioner's court meeting to demand action. Right now, new deputies there make about $57,000 a year, far less than Houston police could earn if a proposed raise goes through. If approved, Houston police officers could start at over $77,000. Deputies say the growing pay gap is pushing many to consider leaving. Harris County commissioners agreed law enforcement deserves support, but Thursday's meeting still saw moments of tension. Harris County leaders have not yet said if a pay increase is coming. Now in the crossroads, local law enforcement is feeling the squeeze too. In Victoria, entry-level police officers earn $52,499 a year. That can grow to just over $70,555. Depending on years of service and department discretion. Victoria County deputies make slightly less. Their pay ranges from $50,450 to $54,840 a year based on hourly rates. The sun is out for Mother's Day. Let's go to Jacob Lozana with a first look at the forecast. It's a weather forecast, Jacob, only a mom could like.
That is true. We are also looking at some popcorn showers, though, popping up around our state, and that's just from that low that had moved across our state. It's actually drawing in some moisture, so like think of it like as a tropical system. It pulls moisture and wraps it all the way around, and that's what we're seeing here across our area is just these blankets, little popcorn showers. We'll be talking about those coming up for tomorrow, coming up after this. Don?
Jacob, thank you. It's been the first full day on the job for the first American pontiff, Pope Leo XIV, highly regarded by the late Pope Francis and a dual citizen of the U.S. and Peru. He's known as a leader with global experience. More now on the new Pope and the excitement around his election.
History made.
I'll begin with a word in English.
The first U.S.-born pontiff, Pope Leo XIV, presiding over the first Mass of his papacy, opening his homily in English before switching to Italian.
As we celebrate this morning, I invite you to recognize the marvels that the Lord has done, the blessings that the Lord continues to pour out upon all of us.
Born Robert Francis Prevost, he earned his bachelor's degree in mathematics from Villanova University in Pennsylvania, and later a diploma in theology from the Catholic Theological Union of Chicago. He studied canon law in Rome before teaching and eventually becoming a bishop in Peru, where he is a naturalized citizen.
I think the Pope I know from Peru is the same one that we see now on the television screens. He's very open, wants an inclusive church, a church that embraces everybody.
Friends of the Pope and fellow Americans speculating on how the leader of the Catholic Church will now engage with the rest of the world.
I also think that he's going to be very much like Pope Francis, and he's going to be very modern, very open to the people, and I think he's going to do the church a great deal.
Reporting from Rome, I'm Matika Schubert.
More than 1,000 cases of measles were reported in the U.S. this year. This is now the second worst year since 2000. The number of Texas measles cases rises to 709. That's a jump of 7 since Tuesday. It is the fewest new cases reported since the state began reporting cases 2 times a week back in February. There have been 92 patients hospitalized since the outbreak started. Most of the cases continue to be minors, with 467 being under the age of 18, and 210 of those cases were under the age of 5. Texas lawmakers want to lower homeowners' insurance costs, but have few options. To read this full Texas Tribune article, visit our website, crossroadstoday.com. Tomorrow in Victoria County, the railroad crossing at Phillips Road and FM 616 will be closed from 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. This temporary closure is necessary for the installation of a new water line crossing Phillips Road. Graduation season is here and we're celebrating the class of 2025. Today we congratulate Caden from Victoria West High School. The message says, "Congratulations, Kay. We are so proud of you. Keep reaching for the stars. Love, Mom, Dad, and Cameron." Congratulations to Cole from Smith STEM Academy. The message says, "The stars are the limit and Mom, Dad, and your brothers are proud of you." Congratulations to Peyton from Victoria East High School. The message is, "Congratulations, Peyton. Graduation is not the end. It is the start of an exciting journey. We are so proud to watch you embark on this new adventure. We love you, kiddo." Submit a photo and heartfelt message for your grad through June 13th. We'll feature our area grads on air and on social media. Go to our contest page at crossroadstoday.com. Click the Entertainment tab, then select Contest to submit and show your pride. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. Is there really such a thing as mother's intuition? Find out what science reveals straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Also, the FDA makes a major move on food coloring. See what's behind the decision.
On this week's Community Crossroads, from Girl Scouts gearing up for a big event to the YMCA's winning game plan for kids. And we've got a free family activity that's fun for all ages. Plus, Miss Texas Universal Miss shares her inspiring small town story.
I want other girls to know that they are strong and they are confident and they are beautiful.
Administration has announced a new screening tool for cervical cancer. The FDA has okayed an at-home test that will allow patients to collect their own vaginal samples for screening. The health company Teal Health created the device called the Teal Wand. After a woman collects her sample, she would then mail it to a lab for testing for HPV. Most cervical cancers are caused by HPV, and screening can help identify women who may be at risk of developing cancer. Mother's Day is this Sunday. It's a time to honor and appreciate all that moms do in our lives, including the way they can often know when something is off, even when no one else in the family picks up on it. Well, a psychologist says there may be a scientific reason for that. In today's Health Minute, more on why some believe a mother's intuition is a real thing and how mothers can build and strengthen that inner voice.
For me. So let's get...
It's a phenomenon described as an awareness in a mother's gut as to what their child is feeling, thinking, doing, or sometimes when there's a danger. And it can happen even when there's no evidence of a problem.
It's like an internal radar system that is tuned in specifically to your child.
Psychologist Susan Albers with Cleveland Clinic says it's not magic or a superpower. Instead, it's a bit of neurobiology and learning history, due in part to pattern recognition. She says spending time with your child releases a chemical that helps you feel bonded to others. It can strengthen the connection and help a mother interpret what a child is going through. But she says sometimes intuition can be confused with anxiety.
A simple way to tell the difference is that intuition is that clear, calm, internal voice in your head that gives you a little nudge. In contrast, anxiety is loud, chaotic, and a little bit like a siren. Urgency.
Albert says self-care, like exercise, managing stress, and a healthy diet can actually help that voice be stronger and clearer. And she says a mother's intuition isn't something people are born with. Instead, it's a bond that can be built and strengthened.
You can do this by watching your child's behavior, listening to their tone, observing, spending time with them, and truly being present. Also, listening to that gut and seeing how it correlates with the reality of the situation, matching those two up.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Albert says mothers should tune into their gut and listen to it, especially if they get a sense that their child is in danger, even when there's no evidence of that. She says moms often know what's going on with their child, even at a subconscious level. The FDA has approved 3 new natural food dyes following a rush to replace artificial coloring. They include Galdiaria Extract Blue, a red algae from volcanic springs, butterfly pea flower extract, and white calcium phosphate. The blue dye is already cleared for drinks, while calcium phosphate is approved for chicken products and candies. The move follows growing health concerns over artificial dyes and possible cancer risks.
Well, it's a pretty clear day outside, but we got some cloud cover starting to build up, but we'll be talking about that coming up after the break. Well, good afternoon, Crossroads. It was a bit of a chaotic day yesterday, but things have started to change up here a little bit. We started to get some northerly winds, mostly sunny skies right now. We started getting some popcorn clouds beginning to pop up, and that's what we're going to be talking about here. Now, north-northwesterly winds at about 10 miles per hour. That humidity has significantly dropped, but we did get up to 83 degrees, which is a little bit cooler than what we had experienced these past couple of days, just minus that humidity. And we're above average for rain here from May, just with all of that rain. Now, we are picking up some spotty little showers and pop-up clouds, and that's kind of what's going on across our state. We have this low pressure system that has moved out towards us, but it is right along the coastline, and low pressure systems spin counterclockwise, just like a tropical cyclone, and just like a tropical cyclone, it wraps in moisture, and that's what it's doing, is it's wrapping in the moisture and spitting it out down towards us. So those northerly winds, those dry northerly winds, are picking up some moisture to go along with that here in the upper levels. But we've got a high pressure system that's going to be awaiting to approach us, and that's going to be bringing us some warmer conditions. And there's that little wraparound right there, just to give a visual for that. But so we'll be seeing some pop-up little showers here coming into the afternoon time. Those will quickly fade away as we go on through the night time, and we're going to be doing this one more time. We're going to be seeing those little popcorn showers begin to pop up as we go hour by hour, starting to see a little bit of cloud cover here in the afternoon time, and start to see pop-up little showers here right around mid-afternoon time as we get that daytime heating going on. But after that, that low pressure system just has to get on moving out of here. Now, 7 a.m. tomorrow, we're going to be seeing 65 degrees as our low. We'll be getting up into the low 80s, maybe some high 70s in certain areas. So it'll be a bit nice outside with those dry conditions. Now, 67 is going to be our low here Sunday morning for Mother's Day. You may see a little bit lower than that as well, but we'll be getting up into the low to mid 80s as our high just for Sunday. And temperatures are going to be a little bit cooler on Monday. We may start to see some 50s begin to pop up, and this is when we're going to start seeing that number quite a bit this week. 90 degrees is what we're going to start to see begin to pop up, but mugginess is also going to be returning. But we're going to be in the comfortable position here until we start to get those wind shifts away from the north, from the west to the south to the southeast, and we'll be getting up into those humid conditions as we go on through the week. And if you're headed down to the coastline, let's just say 78 degrees is going to be that average forecast there in Port O'Connor, and rip current's going to be a bit low for the weekend. Still got that 20% chance of rain for Saturday. If you haven't got your mom a card yet, I suggest doing so, or you could just send her this because the weather's going to be quite fantastic. 72 degrees here at 10 a.m., 2 p.m. 81 degrees, 6 p.m. will be 78 degrees with sunny skies. Look at those drawings by those kids. And yeah, so for Victoria tomorrow, 63 degrees, clear skies, start to get more cloud cover in the mix of that, maybe a little spotty shower with those northerly winds. As well as here in Port Lavaca, we'll start to see cloud cover begin to build up. May see a little spotty shower, 20%, 81 degrees as our high. As well as Cuero, we can start to see those clouds beginning to build in the background, 81 degrees. North winds at 14 miles per hour. But those next 7 days, start to see a drop off in those rain chances, and we're going to be looking at warm conditions here coming into the start of the week, with winds beginning to pick up out of the south-southeast. Now, don't forget to scan the QR code for more news, weather, and sports. Don?
Jacob, thank you. And up next on 25 News Now at 5, we'll take a look at your stocks. Plus, a big shakeup in student loan policy is raising questions. See what's at stake. That's after the break. Here's a look at your stocks. The Dow closed down 119 points. The S&P 500 finished down 4 points. The Nasdaq ended the day up almost a point. Oil is up $1.14 to $61.05 per barrel. This week, the Department of Education is once again trying to collect federal student loans in default. This ends a pandemic-era pause that began about 5 years ago. The Department of Education reports more than 5 million borrowers are in default.
The move comes as the Trump administration works to dismantle the education department and roll back former President Joe Biden's policies, including student loan forgiveness and forbearance. Now, millions of struggling borrowers are forced to act quickly or they might see their wages garnished. For millions of Americans, the Department of Education's announcement came with immediate confusion.
The amount that I owe is $185,000, and that is years and it's decades of interest.
46-year-old Leslie Gray says the pause on payments during the pandemic was a lifesaver, allowing her to pay off medical debt after overcoming breast cancer in 2017. That's also around the time she put her student loans in forbearance.
I haven't been able to catch up since then.
More than 5 million borrowers are in default and 4 million additional borrowers are in late-stage delinquency, which occurs after 90 days without payment, according to the Department of Education. Those could tip into default. Natalia Abrams with the nonprofit Student Debt Crisis Center says they've been inundated with calls from borrowers, many of whom aren't even in default.
This is by far the most confusing, challenging time in the student loan system.
Abrams says there are ways to know if you're in default and steps you can take to get out.
Studentaid.gov. That is going to be your North Star as a student loan borrower to see what program you're in, how far in repayment you are. If you are in default, you can look to a loan consolidation, so that restarts your loan, creates a new loan. It kind of halts that default process. Then you can look at default rehabilitation, where you can pay as little as $5 for 9 months.
It's important to remember a borrower can only rehabilitate a defaulted loan one time. Borrowers should also watch out for any scams that may deceive them with false promises of debt relief or more affordable payments. In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
We're back in a moment. A tiny newcomer is turning heads at the Nashville Zoo. See what's making this Mother's Day extra special.
Tonight, the next pontiff, the first American pope in the history of the Catholic Church, is elected. Pope Leo XIV. Reactions from around the globe. World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast.
Finally tonight, there's a new mother at Tennessee's Nashville Zoo just in time for Mother's Day. It's a southern poodoo, the smallest species of deer in the world. The zoo says the male fawn was born April 28th to first-time mom Bosa and father Paku. The fawn weighs just under 2 pounds. The International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List shows southern poodoos are listed as near threatened, with its population decreasing. They are native to southern Chile and southwestern Argentina. This is the first southern poodoo born at Nashville Zoo. The fawn will stay with its mom for at least the next year. I have never seen a deer that small, and now I know why, because I'd never seen a poodoo.
Yeah, exactly.
I had never seen a poodoo, and I had never heard of popcorn showers.
Yes, popcorn little showers. You get these little.
Want some butter and salt on
Yeah.
that?
So you get these little tiny little showers that just decide to pop up. A little quick, like maybe a minute, 2-minute little showers. That's just from that wraparound moisture from that low. It's actually in the Gulf, and it's been spewing moisture our direction. We're more Texas direction, where we haven't seen any rain here yet. But we have a 20% tomorrow just for that reason. But Mother's Day is going to be looking beautiful. 60 degrees to start off the morning and getting up to 84 degrees. Those winds will continue to blow out of the north. And then it's going to get hot. We'll just say westerly winds will return, bringing in the heat, and then the moisture returns also.
Nice for Mom's Day. Thank you, Jacob, and thanks for being with us. Our next newscast in 30 minutes after World News Tonight with David Muir.